Welcome to the CDN Controls monthly safety meeting for August 2026. Please fill out the attendance form by scanning the QR code displayed on the screen. Meet the CDN Controls HSE leadership team, consisting of Susan Boros, Chief People and Corporate Services Officer, Spencer Gagnon, HSE Manager, Program Development, John Alhus, HSE Manager, Ed Funk, Senior HSE Field Advisor, Derek Pelke, HSE Field Advisor, Dean Emmond, HSE Field Specialist, Chantel LaFrance, HSE Advisor, Program Development, Stacy Moore, HSE Administrator. Before we get into the business of the meeting, we'll start where we always start, with a safety moment. At CDN, we value our employees, our contractors, and the communities we operate in, and taking a few minutes to share a real experience is one of the simplest ways we look out for each other. This month's safety moment is wildfire safety. This month's safety moment is wildfire safety, and it splits into two questions. What do you do if an evacuation is called, and how do you work safely when the air is full of smoke? On evacuation, the expectation from Section 10 of our HSE manual is that you know the site-specific emergency response plan, your route out, and your muster point before the shift starts, not when the call comes. When it does come, stop work, shut down and secure your equipment, and go. Get to the muster point, report in, and stay there until the supervisor gives direction. Only first responders decide when a site is safe to reoccupy. Use whatever communication you have, radio, cell, or in person, and remember that media questions go through the crisis communication plan, never through you. If you see a wildfire, call 310-FIRE, that's 310-3473, right away. On the screen is our wildfire smoke safety talk, and I want to walk through it together because this is the one page to keep handy for the rest of the season. Wildfire smoke is a seasonal hazard. It carries harmful gases and very small particles that travel deep into the lungs, and exposure can affect your breathing and your overall health. Start with the symptoms of smoke exposure: sore throat, coughing, difficulty breathing, irritated eyes, and headaches. Those are the early signals, and they are worth speaking up about. One important note on that panel: if you have any heart or respiratory condition, tell your supervisor, because those conditions raise your risk from wildfire smoke, and we may need to adjust your work. Before starting work, assess the risk across 4 things: work location, indoor versus outdoor; activity level, because strenuous work means you breathe in more smoke; exposure time, since longer exposure increases the health risk; and air quality, which you monitor for current smoke and conditions. During work activities, the expectations are straightforward. Check air quality before work and regularly through the day. Limit your time in smoky areas. Reduce heavy exertion when it is smoky. Take breaks in clean air. Stay hydrated. And wear an N95 or P100 respirator if it is required. The bottom line is the part in the banner. If you experience difficulty breathing, stop work, move to clean air, and notify your supervisor immediately. Seek medical attention if symptoms persist or get worse. No task on any of our sites is worth pushing through that. If the air is bad and the plan does not work anymore, stop and call your supervisor or an HSE advisor. Next, we'll move into our incident review. A resilient safety culture is an organization's ability to anticipate risk, respond to it, and learn from it. What follows are the incidents that occurred at CDN over the past month. As we walk through them, I'd ask you to listen for the lessons learned rather than the details of who or where. Every one of these events is a source of knowledge that helps each of us build the skills to recognize and respond to the moments we face on the job every day. Overall, July was a very quiet month, with only 3 incidents that required investigation. There is one I'd like to highlight. It was classified as a first aid with a minor actual severity, but a significant potential severity. A CDN worker was operating an aerial work platform from the basket controls while repositioning the unit to the designated work location. During that move, the basket contacted the edge of a pile cap and became caught. The worker attempted to continue maneuvering while the basket was still snagged, and when it released, it rebounded unexpectedly and struck the worker in the face, resulting in a bloody nose that was treated on site. The operator had assigned a spotter before the move, so the right control was in place. During the investigation, however, it was determined the spotter's attention was divided across multiple areas of a congested work zone, with personnel and equipment traffic all around. The spotter simply wasn't able to stay dedicated to the aerial work platform at the moment it mattered. The takeaway is that in a congested area, one spotter may not be enough. If your line of sight or your attention is being pulled in more than one direction, stop and get a second spotter. That incident leads naturally into a question we get often, which is, when should we report an incident? The short answer is right away, and even when no one was hurt. That includes a dropped tool or piece of material, a minor strain or a twinge in your back, a small spill or release, a vehicle incident or a near miss, a slip, trip, or fall, any exposure to chemicals, noise, dust, or hydrogen sulfide, and any unsafe act or condition you come across. Here's the rule of thumb I'd like you to take away. If you find yourself thinking it's probably too minor to report, that is exactly the moment you should report it. Those small reports are what let us find and fix a hazard before it becomes the next serious injury. I also want to take a moment to recognize our people. In July, 89 employees were nominated for CDN's Care Value. Safety is a core part of living care, so I'd like to congratulate this month's honorees who demonstrated safety excellence: Steve Morocco, Jaden Nokohu, Luke Movold, Misha Syme, Layla Martinez, Ashlyn Steddle, Isa Lampro-Petty, Zach Nielsen, and Hannah Gould. Thank you all for setting the standard and for looking out for one another. Next, we have a few reminders and updates from the HSE team. These are short items, but please take note of them because a couple of them may require action on your part before you head back out to the field. Every CDN vehicle needs to carry a first aid kit and the required emergency equipment. For first aid, that means a CSA Type 2 small kit for single-occupant vehicles and a CSA Type 3 kit for multi-occupant vehicles or vehicles that work on remote locations with limited access to emergency care services. Vehicle inspections are required as well, so please make sure inspections are being completed and that any deficiencies are reported. On the emergency equipment side, your vehicle should carry a fire extinguisher, an eye wash bottle or station, two-way radio, road triangles, booster cables, a face shield, and an emergency kit. Take a few minutes this week to physically check your vehicle rather than assuming it's stocked. If something is missing or expired, please contact orders@cdncontrols.ca. That brings us to this month's safety topic, which is WHMIS and chemical safety. Almost every one of us works around a controlled product of some kind, whether that's solvents, fuels, lubricants, or cleaning agents. Over the next few minutes, we'll refresh what WHMIS requires of us, how to read the labels and the safety data sheets, and where to go when you have a question about a product you're handling.
Staying safe and healthy at work. It's your most important job. But when it comes to hazardous products, how do you know what's in your workplace? And if you use hazardous products, how do you protect yourself and those around you? And what do you do if an accident happens? Well, that's what the WHMIS 2015 program is all about. The Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System. It's there to make sure you get the answers and information you need to stay safe. But remember, these questions are the key. What is the hazard? How do I protect myself? What should I do if there's an accident? And how do I get more information? WHMIS 2015 will provide you with the answers to these questions. The manufacturer, distributor, or supplier of a product is responsible for product labeling and information. And your employer is responsible for educating you on the safe handling of hazardous products you use. So what are WHMIS labels? Each hazardous product must have a label with symbols and hazard statements, providing information about the type of hazard associated with the product. There are 10 WHMIS symbols, and you need to look for them and recognize the dangers they represent. Exploding bomb, for explosive or reactive hazards. Flame, for flammable products. Flame over circle, for oxidizing products. Gas cylinder, for gases under pressure. Corrosion, for corrosive hazards to metal, skin, and eyes. Skull and crossbones, can cause death or toxicity with exposure. Exclamation mark, may cause less serious health effects. Health hazard, may cause serious health effects such as cancer. Biohazardous, infectious materials and toxins that cause disease. Environment, may cause damage to the aquatic environment. This is optional in Canada. WHMIS labels must also include warnings and precautions for safe use. Your employer is responsible for making sure WHMIS labels have been applied to all hazardous products in your workplace. But WHMIS also demands that all suppliers and distributors provide a lot more information about their products via Safety Data Sheets, or SDS. These sheets provide all the information you need to know about the product to ensure your safety, and what to do in the event of an accident or emergency. These sheets must be readily available on the job site to all workers. Once your employer has made sure both labels and safety data sheets are in place, you must be trained on how the system works, including the safe use and handling of all the hazardous products in your workplace. So, those are the basic facts. But it all comes back to you asking the 4 questions. What is the hazard? How do I protect myself? What should I do if there is an accident? And how do I get more information? Because the most important thing is you going home safe at the end of each day.
Let's close out the topic with a few quick questions. First, what should you do before handling or working near a chemical product? Review the safety data sheet. It tells you the hazards, the protective equipment you need, and what to do if something goes wrong. Second, where can you find the SDS? They're provided by the supplier, available from your leader, or you can find them on the HSE portal. And third, what should you do if you can't find the SDS or the product isn't labeled? Let your leader know. Don't use an unlabeled or unidentified product, and don't guess at what's in the container. To make that easier, we've put 2 quick links on the screen. The first code takes you to CDN Connect for managed inventory, and the second takes you to the Chemical Safety Open Lookup, where you can search for a product and pull its safety data sheet. Take a moment now to scan whichever one you use most and save it to your phone so the information is with you when you're out in the field and need it. The last reminder on chemical safety is labeling. Every chemical needs a label because workplace labels are what help you identify the hazard and handle the product safely. You need a workplace label in 3 situations. First, when a chemical is transferred into a spray bottle, jug, pail, or any other container. Second, when the supplier label is missing or has become unreadable. And third, when a product is produced here in the workplace. The label should identify the product, show the applicable hazard pictograms and precautions, and point you to the safety data sheet. The bottom line is simple. Do not use an unidentified chemical. If you come across a container you can't identify, set it aside and let your leader know. And if you need replacement workplace label stickers, contact orders at the email address on the screen. This is the end of our August 2026 safety meeting. If you haven't already, please fill out attendance by scanning the QR code on this slide. Thank you and have a safe day.